Hey guys, it's Tish once again. I just wanted to talk about The Shy. The season finale was this past Sunday. And so this is season 4. They are being renewed for season 5. And once the new season comes up, I'm sure I'm still going to watch it. Um, I got a love-hate relationship going on right now with The Shy. And but I just feel like I'm so freaking invested at this point that I just gotta see this through. Honestly, I just gotta stick with it at this point. So once it picks back up with season 5, then maybe I'll start doing like episode by episode review. But since I've already been have watched this entire season and this season's just came to an end, I'm probably just gonna just do a general review. I just have questions. First of all, some things just at this point are just not making a lot of sense to me. Um, for one, with Duda, you can't just leave town. Like, you just can't leave town. And nobody asks questions. You're the freaking mayor. You also were previously shot. Then you also have Gemma's dad that you just assaulted and beat up and everything, that's laying in the hospital. Like, yeah, people don't know that you were involved because of Trig having the video footage, but still, that still is linked to your administration in some ways, and people are going to be asking questions. You're a freaking drug dealer, drug kingpin. I mean, you got all these ties to the people, the dealers and stuff like that on the ground. So you can just up and leave and run off like that and nobody asks questions. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. On top of it, Rosalind can't just come in and take over your spot. Like, where do they do that at? Nowhere. So yeah, and then I'm also just kind of thinking like, okay, at the beginning of the season, when there was so much mystery and so much build up to like, oh, who shot Duda? At the beginning of so they made it seem like him being shot was going to be the major focal point of this season. And then it's like once he gets shot, they immediately reveal that it was Brandon's mother who ended up shooting him. They immediately revealed that right after he gets shot. And then it's almost like him being shot was just like a non-issue after that point. It wasn't okay. Did he even try to go after her or put a hit out for her or do anything to her? I mean, it just ended up being fizzled out, and it just became a nothing burger after all that buildup, and it just didn't make sense to me. Things I did like. I liked how, is his name Shad? I liked how him and Imani ended up kind of resolving their issues, and kind of towards the end having a friendship or a shot, basically seeing her as family. So I thought that was a good take. I like that take on it because the way it was building up was almost making us think that, okay, maybe Shah was going to try to do something to Imani, or that, he was like a complete like transphobe. Or I still was somewhat, because of the way they built it up, I was still somewhat suspicious, like, okay, does Shad have some other reasons in the back of his mind as far as why he's trying to just play cool, play like she's family right now? But I mean, I'm just gonna take it for face value that the fact that they actually had Tabitha Brown's character playing that she's gonna still have some role in Keisha's life. She's gonna help her, kind of be able to manage and taking care of a baby and helping her, mentoring her so that she can still go on and be successful, and and be able to manage having a baby and going to school or working or whatever. So she's gonna still play a role. And so it does make me feel like she will be having a bigger role on the show. And at this point, because they've killed off so many of like the major characters that I feel like that's who I tuned in to watch. Like I tuned in to watch Ronnie. I tuned in for Jason Mitchell's character Brandon. I tuned in for the girlfriend Jerica. I tuned in initially. That's what drew me in the most with the show. And now all those characters are gone. And even Ronnie's grandmother, I loved her. That like really what drew me into the show. And so I feel like they have to bring in some more characters some kind of way. And so I don't know what else might be in store for what they want to do with Tabitha, but I'm hoping that they can bring her in or maybe some other characters can come into this because at this point it does almost feel more soap opera-ish right now to me than anything else. And everything is about the love stories and stuff like that, which is fine, but that's not what initially brought me into the show. And so I'm hoping that there can be some other new characters, new faces, some other storylines brought into this some kind of way. But that's up to Lena Waithe to, and whatever other writer she has to come up with what they're going to do from this point on. But I feel like that is definitely lacking. I mean, this season was a lot better than the last season. Last season I definitely think, was the worst season thus far. But this season, I felt like they did get a little bit back of their bearings, but it's still like they don't know what else to do. Okay, on to Emmett and his wife. I can't remember her name right now, but I knew she was catching feelings. I knew she was catching feelings for that guy, and that's why she wanted to continue to have an open relationship. And so basically, we have her going to Dante and trying to, tell him that maybe she should leave Emmett for him. And he's basically telling her that, I'm just your side nigga, basically. I'm just your side man. I don't want anything else. I just want to be friends with benefits. And basically, once she got that information, now she wants to go run back to Emmett and say, let's close up the relationship. But just the way that she even approached it with him, you could tell that it's not what she really wants to do. And I just feel like at this point, if she just wants to at this point, I feel like she don't really want Emmett like that. I mean, she love him, but she don't love him. And I think now that she kind of started seeing that there's other guys out there, other guys who want her, other guys that she feel like, she can have something better. She wants to explore that. So she might as well just go on and be single. But now, at the end, she ends up hooking up with, I forget the guy, Iman, is that his name in real life? She ends up hooking up with that guy. So now we definitely crossed the line where you're basically cheating because now Emmett is not going to be aware of this situation. She's going to be hiding this situation because she told him that we're going to close things up. So now she's legitimately cheating because Emmett's not aware. And so I think that's going to be an interesting storyline as far as where that takes her. I don't know if this guy, what his intentions are from the way he was talking and stuff. I mean, I just get the impression that he's also kind of the guy that just wants to sleep around and stuff like that. But, I think it might get more complicated if he catches feelings for her. And so now they both got feelings for each other. Then that's going to get very messy. And I could see that kind of storyline happening. Moving on, I'm happy that Emmett's mom, Jada, that she ended up having her cancer is in a stable place. She's going into remission. I guess that's what they said. And so I'm happy about that because I'm like, please don't let us lose another character. Like Jada has, her also is what brought me in, just like her interaction with Ronnie just really brought me in. And the last few episodes before this one, I was kind of worried because I'm like, okay, they're spending a lot of time on Jada where people are just coming over to visit her, people are coming over to see her. So it kind of had me worried, like, okay, are they gonna end up, I just thought they were gonna end up writing in there that she end up collapsing or something when somebody go to get her food out the microwave or something like that, and then they turn around and she didn't collapse or something. That's why I kept feeling, because I'm like, they're spending way too much time just like, having different people come and visit her and people come and just sit with her, people just coming and talking to her and making amends and all this stuff. So I'm kind of happy for this turn, and I hope that at this point we can just move beyond this cancer storyline and develop some other storyline for her. But I do kind of feel like once Ronnie left, like the writers really didn't know what else to do with her character, because a lot of her whole storyline on the show was kind of revolving around Ronnie and his grandmother and then Emmett. But it seemed like once Emmett started getting himself together, she wasn't as needed in his life. So I just hope she can get something fresh with her, that maybe doesn't have to revolve around just the love dynamic like we saw her get with this guy who seemed like he's solid and he loves her. So let's have something else come into this. I don't know what they're going to do. All right, the kids on the show. I don't even know where to start with this situation with the kids. Well, I'm happy that Maisha, at first I was kind of like, oh, I feel for Papa and Maisha situation, but now I'm kind of cool with the fact that there's not so much of the Maisha in him, because I don't know, they was just talking too grown for me. They was talking like some 35 and 40-year-old people, like they planning their whole life, and oh, did you pay on the mortgage, honey? Like they was just talking like, I'm like, y'all some mature kids. Like, I don't even talk like, me and my husband don't even talk like this. But, so I was just feeling some kind of way about that. So I think Papa needs time for him to discover who he is. Maisha needs time to discover who she is. I mean, and they're all growing up. I mean, I feel like a lot of the circumstances with the kids' storylines, Maisha was there. So, I mean, I love her on the show, but, I feel like they need to do something different or mix it up, just do something else there. Kevin. Well, I'm happy that he didn't take it as hard when it came to, him and Gemma. I'm happy he didn't take that super, super hard. I was fearing for him with all the drinking, all the, but I almost kind of feel like maybe the breakup was a good thing because it kind of, he had time to really work on himself and just be separated from that stuff. And so maybe to a certain extent, separated from Jake as well because he was having all the drama with Jake. And so he wasn't around Jake as much. He was hanging around more with Papa. And I think maybe that would might have been a better influence for him to be more on the side with Papa because, I feel like in some ways he was influenced to do certain things because of Jake, being there. So I just think him having that time away from Jake and just their circle, and then he was able to meet a new friend. He likes this new girl. Although that's gonna be a whole nother thing if she now move into the house, and he seemed like he really likes her, and I think she would be a be someone good for him. Um, but now she's moving in the house, and I feel like that's gonna be a recipe for disaster. That's gonna be a recipe. Let's just hope that we don't have another pregnancy in their house with everything else going on. So I'm hoping that that don't end up being the case. But I'm interested to see what turn that takes. Although, yeah, I do feel some type of way about Dre. Basically, I'm happy that Dre stepped in to help this girl, but with the fact that they're having problems, Nina and her are having problems. I don't know about introducing another person into the house, and then on top of it, you already see that Kevin likes this girl. This is, he had her spend the night at his house unawares to them. So but we'll see how it go. But let me see what else. Keisha and her new boyfriend. I like this guy. We'll see what happens there. But everybody right now, for the most part, except for Emmett, in his situation, his open relationship, everybody else is. And Nina and Dre, I guess. Some other people are doing a little bit better as far as their love life, but I just feel like this whole season was like one, big soap opera, Young and the Restless, season 54, of Young and the Restless. So, I'm hoping that the show can kind of get back to some of the roots that it had originally, where it was kind of more about, like I'm not all into the whole drug dealing aspect myself. Sometimes I'm picky about what shows I watch that have a lot of drug dealing aspect in it, because I feel like that can get so old. But in some ways that was still more interesting because you kind of had the intersection of like how Ronnie was homeless and Jason Mitchell's character Brandon was trying to become a cook, but they come from the hood and just the push and pull of that and not having the resources. And I just like that aspect of just showing how people try to survive and make it, when they don't come from the most advantaged backgrounds, So I really like that perspective that I just feel like is not there anymore. And so I'm just hoping that something can be turned back around. But yeah, at this point, the whole defund the police thing, as far as how it's being portrayed on this show, I don't see how it worked or is working. And now, so what does Trigg now be? Is he like the head of the police? I don't know. Like even that was like no tie ups as far as that situation. I just feel like a lot of things just were not tied up, and I just feel like everything that where the show is now is basically because of, after Brandon character was killed off the show, everything else has been kind of downhill from there. And then when they killed off Ronnie, I mean, I felt like his storyline was kind of at an end, but I would have liked to see him be able to actually get a little bit more, able to turn his life around a little bit more, see more of that than where they left it. But I do feel like his stuff was tied up. But still, at the same time, I just feel like once they were gone, it's like, you know, so many things just are not quite making sense. It's just not the same show. But once season 5 come, I will be giving it a chance. We'll see how it goes. But those are my thoughts. If you have any comments, you want to leave and discuss The Chi, please, leave a comment and let me know. Till next time, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.